Good evening, you're now with me in for TVS Nightline, and here are the headlines for tonight. Premier of Sarawak arrived in Toulouse, France on Sunday, leading a delegation for a working visit aimed at advancing the state's aviation sector. And the government has rejected US claim of a 47% tariff on US imports. Sarawak Governor Tun Pehin Sri Dr. Wan Junaidi Tunku Jaafar and his wife, Tuan Datuk Patinggi Fauzia Muhammad Sanusi, paid their final respects to veteran Sarawak journalist and historian James Alexander Ritchie this morning at the St. Thomas Cathedral. The couple arrived at 10:05 a.m. and were warmly greeted by the family of the deceased in a moment marked by somber reflection and respect. While paying his respects, Wan Junaidi was visibly emotional, spending 20 minutes with the family of the late James Ritchie. He offered condolences and paid tribute to Ritchie's enduring commitment to documenting Sarawak's history, particularly the lives of its indigenous peoples, folklore, and key cultural moments. The remains will be transported to Nirvana Memorial Park on Jalan Bau, Kuching for burial on Tuesday. James Ritchie, who passed away at the age of 75 at Sarawak General Hospital on Saturday, had devoted over 50 years to the journalism profession since 1971. Sarawak Premier Datuk Patinggi Tan Sri Ahmad Johari Tun Openg arrived in Toulouse, France on Sunday, leading a delegation on a working visit aimed at advancing the state's aviation sector. Today, the Premier is scheduled to visit the headquarters of Airbus, a global leader in aviation, where he is expected to discuss opportunities for collaboration in aviation technology and operational development. Meanwhile, in the afternoon, he will continue his tour with a visit to ATR, the renowned turboprop aircraft manufacturer also based in Toulouse. This visit is particularly significant as it aligns with the state's evolving aviation landscape, especially following the acquisition of Maswings, now rebranded as Air Borneo. Abang Johari had previously announced that Air Borneo is set to begin full operations next year, serving both domestic and international routes across Southeast Asia, with major destinations such as Jakarta, Singapore, Hong Kong, and Japan on the horizon. This trip highlights the Sarawak government's ongoing commitment to enhancing its local aviation ecosystem and reinforcing the state's position as a competitive regional air hub. Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim and Sarawak Premier Datuk Patinggi Tan Sri Ahmad Johari Tun Openg are set to meet to discuss the ongoing issues between Petronas and Petros, with the aim of finding a mutually beneficial resolution. Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Sri Fadilah Yusof mentioned that the discussions will involve several parties, including the Attorney General's Department, the Sarawak State Attorney General's Department, as well as representatives from both Petronas and Petros. According to Fadilah, some of the issues at hand are legal matters that can only be resolved through the court. However, the government is adopting a negotiation approach to seek a mutually agreeable solution.
Tapi pendekatan sekarang ialah untuk mencari kaedah menang-menang. Sebab itu perundingan nanti memerlukan bukan sahaja peringkat antara Perdana Menteri, Premier, juga melibatkan peguam besar negeri Sarawak dan juga penasihat peguam persekutuan dan juga melibatkan pihak Petronas dan juga Petros.
Now, Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Sri Fadilah Yusof stated that Kuching has the potential to become a strategic dispute resolution hub within the BIM IAGA framework. He also noted that the city is developing a new identity as a regional anchor for professional dialogue, expertise exchange, and legal diplomacy.
It is clear that Kuching is more than a host city. It is becoming a regional anchor for sustainable, inclusive growth and natural place for dialogues like this to take root and flourish.
Additionally, he said Borneo is now emerging as a new focus zone for cross-border cooperation in fields such as law, energy and logistics.
With the development of Nusantara in Indonesia, Brunei's increased engagement and the rapid economic growth of Sabah and Sarawak, this region is emerging as a key player in ASEAN's future. These ventures require legal frameworks and dispute resolution systems that are timely, efficient, and locally relevant.
He made these remarks during the opening ceremony of the Borneo Alternative Dispute Resolution ADR Week 2025 in Kuching on Monday. The second edition of Borneo ADR Week, which will last for 5 days, gathers professional bodies, legal institutions, and experts from across Malaysia, Borneo, and the region. This also marks Kuching's role not just as a host city, but as an intellectual and professional hub playing a strategic role in shaping dispute resolution systems at the ASEAN level. The government has denied a claim by the United States that Malaysia has imposed a 47% tariff on U.S. imports. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim stated that the claim is false, as the total U.S. imports into Malaysia in 2024 should be measured comprehensively. He further emphasized that this matter should not be used as a basis for imposing retaliatory tariffs. Furthermore, he explained that on average, the tariff on U.S. imports to Malaysia is only 5.6%, which is acknowledged by the U.S. Trade Representative in the 2025 National Trade Estimate Report on Foreign Trade Barriers published on March 31, 2025.
Kita menganggap pengiraan ini tidak mencerminkan tahap tarif sebenar dan tidak berlandaskan teori ekonomi yang kukuh. Saya sebut perkara ini untuk menunjukkan bahawa apa saja keputusan Amerika Syarikat, jika tidak dikendali dengan berhemah dan bijaksana, tentu akan memberikan kesan. Kerana jumlah, saya katakan, pelaburan Amerika Syarikat keseluruhannya 166 bilion ringgit yang telah mewujudkan 200,000 pekerjaan di negara ini.
He made this statement during a special parliament session on Monday, where the ministerial team briefed Parliament on government measures and the outcomes of recent bilateral talks on U.S. retaliatory tariffs. Adding further, Anwar said Malaysia will continue its trade and investment relations with the U.S. despite facing retaliatory tariffs imposed by the administration of President Donald Trump. The government, according to Anwar, has decided to pursue pragmatic discussions based on national interests.
Kerajaan mengambil serius tindakan pengenaan tarif timbal balik reciprocal tarif. Oleh itu, kita mengambil kira kepentingan Amerika Syarikat sebagai destinasi ekspor dan sumber pelaburan terbesar. Jadi kita telah membuat keputusan yang alhamdulillah bermakna, kerana tidak hanya bergantung kepada satu pasaran besar. Dalam beberapa tahun ini kita telah secara agresif membuka ruang perdagangan baru, menjelajah ke seluruh dunia, mencari rakan dagang baru.
For the record, Malaysia's trade with the US in 2024 totals 325 billion ringgit, which accounts for 11% of the total trade volume. The US is also the largest export destination for Malaysia's goods, with exports worth 199 billion ringgit, making up 13% of the total exports. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim has announced that the establishment of the Invest Malaysia Facilitation Centre, or IMFC, will be expanded to Sarawak and Penang. He emphasised that this one-stop investment centre is designed to provide essential services to investors and effectively monitor project approval performance in both states. According to the Prime Minister, the centre was first established in the capital in December 2023 and in Forest City for the Johor-Singapore Special Economic Zone in February 2025. At the same time, Anwar said the government is paying more attention to driving domestic economic activities, especially development projects and investments. As a result, special focus will be given to speeding up the implementation of approved projects, particularly flood mitigation projects, improving dilapidated schools, and constructing clinics.
Had tersebut harga ditingkatkan dari 1 kepada 3 juta ringgit dan had cabut undi daripada 100 ribu ringgit kepada 200 ribu ringgit untuk mempercepatkan kerja selenggara serta pembaikan seperti sekolah daif, klinik.
As such, he added that the capacity of technical agencies will be enhanced to accelerate the pre-implementation processes of government projects. He said this includes a new approach that allows for the implementation of federal government projects on state-owned land. Wrapping up the Nightline, the Investment, Trade and Industry Ministry (MITI) will be the sole issuer of all non-preferential certificates of origin (NPCO) for shipment to the United States effective May 6. Its Minister Tengku Dato Sri Zafrul Tengku Abdul Aziz stated that this is to address the issue of possible transshipment from certain countries to the US market through Malaysia's entry and exit points.
Jadi semua pengeluaran NPCO di Certificate of Origin ni ke pasaran Amerika Syarikat oleh Majlis Perniagaan ataupun Dewan atau Persatuan yang dulu dilantik oleh MITI sebelum ini akan dihentikan dengan serta-merta. Dalam masa yang sama, MITI akan meningkatkan audit ke atas semua permohonan NPCO ni, Certificate of Origin ini, dan kita akan menyiasat dan mengambil tindakan yang sewajarnya, ya, dengan kerjasama Jabatan Kastam untuk membendung sebarang cubaan transshipment ke negara-negara lain, terutamanya negara Amerika Syarikat.
He made this statement during a press conference following a special parliament session in the capital on Monday. Elaborating further, Zafrul said the audits and investigations were necessary as MITI had received several cases regarding NPCOS issued by trade councils. He pointed out that the issue arose partly due to the lack of a free trade agreement (FTA) between Malaysia and the US. Additionally, he mentioned that the misuse of trade routes was one of the key points discussed in the recent non-disclosure agreement (NDA) between Malaysia and the US. See the world closer with TVS as we bring you the latest news updates both locally and internationally. For more headlines anytime, anywhere, just head on to our official website at tvsarawak.my or follow us on our social media platforms. Those were the updates on TVS Nightline. I'm Handy Gui. Thank you for watching. Have a good night.